There is no lower hanging fruit than IGN. Everyone makes fun of them. Somewhere on this planet, a baby's first words were IGN sucks. They are irresistible to mock. They are a wedgie magnet. I recognize it's not brave to insult them, but I cannot help it. They are a company that puts out opinions that are so bad it should be labeled domestic terrorism sometimes. And that's what we're focusing on today. Their most recent dog shit take, giving the Invincible season finale a 4. I haven't been this stunned by an IGN review since they gave Transformers 1, one of the best animated films of 2024, a 5. It really feels like, and the prevailing theory is, that this is a company that is only staying afloat by making rage bait. And I think there is merit to that claim. I think there really is a legitimate chance that there is an internal memo for the workers at IGN that they have to produce the most incendiary, terrible reviews in order just to get a couple of those quick clicks from people that want to leave an angry comment about it. And if this conspiracy theory is incorrect, then I think IGN demonstrates the very worst of an archaic system of company reviews, where you have a bunch of different goobers, all with different tastes, being assigned different things to review that they may not have any interest themselves personally in seeing, and you'll see that ire come out in the review where they completely miss the point, or they go into it with like a fucking chip on their shoulder and make a review that is clearly from the perspective of someone who either didn't want to watch it and refused to actually engage with it, or truly just didn't understand it at all. So what the fuck is the point of them reviewing that in the first place? And that is exactly the case of this abomination of a review for Invincible Season 3's finale. Now, I think there's things to not like about it. I thought it was amazing, but I do know that there are some things you could definitely point to and say, that wasn't super strong, but overall, I feel like there's no really good argument you can make that it's a 4. A 4 on the IGN scale means it's damn near unwatchable. Though admittedly, it seems like they're playing real odd hardball with some things where, like, they know their reputation is basically just Johnny Appleseed with 8s, where they're just throwing out 8s to literally anything that moves with a picture on the screen, and like any game that turns on. I feel like they have recognized that that's the reputation they have, so they've tried to swing the pendulum in the exact opposite direction. So now they're trying to be all like big, tough, puffing out their chest, smoking a cigarette, and giving out like 5s and 4s to things that are actually really good. So, like, it's very just all over the place. And in the Invincible review in particular, when you actually read the things he was saying to argue for why it's so bad, it's as if he just didn't watch it and looked at like a ChatGPT summary of what the episode had in it, and then wrote his review based on that. Now, I know we talked about this a bit last night. I was in disbelief when chat told me IGN rated the Season 3 finale for Invincible 4. So, of course, we talked about it last night. But I am actually still stun-locked on it. This morning I woke up and remembered the review, and I'm still mad. Yeah, IGN, like, it's not like a meme, they really did give it a 4. They said it is the worst episode in the series, the first bad episode of Invincible. And it's, I don't know, it sent me on like this spiral, like almost an existential spiral of what is even the point in a company like IGN reviewing things anymore. Like, it feels so obsolete. Because they have so many different reviewers, there's so many different tastes. What is the point in having the guy who gave Megaflopolis a 9 also review Invincible Season 3? Like, what does that do? This guy's already huffing his own farts thinking that he, in his words, Megalopolis is capable of rewriting your body, soul, and mind, and then tasking him with reviewing Invincible Season 3. Like, this... Like, it's just fundamentally useless. Because I'm really starting to think it's not even rage bait. Like, that was my big cope last night, is that it has to be rage bait from IGN, but I don't think it is anymore. I think it is just a product of just being so archaic and having different people reviewing different things and people's tastes just not aligning with the thing that they're reviewing, that it leads to shit like this. I think he's just their go-to rage bait guy when a big show comes out because he only reviews contrarian takes for big stuff. Yeah, I was looking through his list as well, like, it does seem like that is kind of a common trend with his reviews, but it can't be useful, right? Like, for a company like IGN, it cannot be useful to have, like, a designated rage bait spitball magnet. Like, you'll get some clicks, but mostly what people are gonna do is what they're doing right now, just making fun of it on Twitter without ever actually engaging with the article itself. Because why the fuck are you gonna go here? It's absolutely outrageous. No one's gonna bother clicking on it, it's too rage baity. So, like, I don't even think that's what's going on. But they're not getting rage clicks is the argument I'm making. When you have something that's this egregiously off the mark, no one's gonna ever actually click on it. They're just going to make fun of it on Twitter from just the headline alone. And I think that's totally fine to do because this is so ridiculous, there's no possible way of justifying this review. And when you read it, it's very clear he either didn't watch it or purposefully just throws the most outrageous statements about it. Like, we already read the whole thing last night, I'm not gonna bother doing that again, but just like calling it narratively scattered and thematically incoherent is like very evident he is either doing it purposefully or truly just didn't watch it and maybe just saw TikTok shorts with highlights. But look how many comments this article has. I bet it has more than any other review from this year. That's a really good, actually that's a really good thing to look at. This article has 460 comments. What is his, well, this is a bad metric because this is another one of his stinkers, but what does this one have for Megalopolis? 314. It's not a huge difference. Is this movie out yet? Did Drop come out? I really want to see it. They gave oh my god. They gave Drop a 7. This is that god-awful Blumhouse hemorrhoid where it's about a woman who gets a FaceTime from a criminal who's got her family held hostage if she doesn't kill her date. And it's the movie about just like text messages coming through and Ring doorbell. They gave that a 7. I mean, I haven't watched it yet. Maybe it really is super good. But it does seem like the Invincible 4 has more engagement than most of their other reviews. So maybe it is on purpose. No, their Monster Hunter Wilds review has almost double it. Their Mickey 17 one has 3 times the engagement of their Invincible 4. And they gave Mickey 17 an 8. Honestly, I actually agree with the 8. I'd probably give it like an 8.5 maybe. Nah, probably not even 8.5. I'd probably keep it in an 8. But even still, I think just going through that makes it kind of clear that it's not like Rage Bait does a ton for them. I just really think this guy has dog shit taste, and they put him on Invincible. That's a recipe for disaster. Like, I just don't see I really do not see the point in companies anymore doing reviews where they have like a staff of reviewers that each do different things with different tastes. Like, I think there's just so much more merit now in just like individuals. Like, you find someone whose taste that you find like a lot of like commonality with, and you'll see what they say about a property, which is why things like Letterboxd I think does pretty well. Did he have any specific complaints or just generalizations? He had some specific complaints, but they're complaints that an actual lobotomite would make if you sat them in front of the screen. It just does not seem like, based on everything he's stated here, that he even watched it. Like, and I don't mean that as an exaggeration, it really does read like he didn't watch the episode. So, like, for example, he says, like, a hero's dilemma here never even arrives. Like, it's just the show worth watching. I think Invincible is a must-watch. The only complaint I have about Season 3 is its animation. Like, it feels like it's on a shoestring budget for absolutely no reason. This is the show that should have the budget of fucking Rings of Power. Like, there is no excuse why the animation should look as bad as it does for 6 episodes. That's the only complaint I have. IGN also gave the first 6 episodes of Severance Season 2 a 6. What? We do this like once every 8 months, just going through the absolute lunacy of IGN reviews. Here, this is what you're saying. Severance falters by holding too tightly to its secrets, leaning too heavily on vibes, and getting its 10-episode second season off to an agonizingly slow start. Well, I super disagree with that. This I think can, like, this works for the most recent episode. I'll avoid spoilers, but for the most recent episode, okay. That criticism I think would apply. But for the first 6, not really. You learn a lot for the first 6 episodes. A lot of secrets. Holding too tightly to its secrets, IGN criticized the show for having a plot. Yeah, but like I said, that argument, like, this is a fine point to make if you were talking specifically about one episode. But to say that as a blanket statement for 6 episodes of Season 2 when so many things have been revealed and then just the criticism is too many vibes, that's just rough. I think she really missed the mark with the review on that. Aren't all reviews subjective? I don't get the rage people have over these reviews. Yeah, but this is... I think you can make a very strong case that this is just so objectively bad that it has to be on purpose. Because reading it, I don't want to just reread it because we did it last night and I'm already still fucking stun-locked on the topic. But reading it, it seems as though he didn't even watch it. Or if he watched it, he just did not want to be actually bothering to engage with it at all. So, like, it's not even subjective. He's not even grasping what he's looking at. Like, the only actual thing that I think has merit is this statement right here, where he's talking about after all the civilians were dying during the fight, something that was very traumatic and something we explored a lot in Season 3. Mark doesn't directly acknowledge it in the episode. That's a fair thing to point out. I don't think he really had a chance to with the way the episode was moving with the pacing. I think that's going to be something that's explored in Season 4 to a certain extent again. But to say, like, the hero's dilemma and all this was never even realized and it's all shallow and bad, it's stupid. It's very stupid. It's like, it's not even, like, he watched something else. Man fell asleep and dreamed episode 8. I've had a real 180 on cats since having a cat. What's it called? Toxoplasmosis, where they brain control you with their shit? Yeah, it super worked on me. Now I just love all cats. Alpha male content creators get more wedgies than the men that they're trying to scam. They get made fun of almost as much as bronies used to back in the day. And right now there's a new clown that everyone is taking turns shooting spitballs at, and I had never heard of this alpha male before, which is extremely rare, like Halley's Comet. Because when it comes to alpha males, I treat it like I'm Professor Oak. I'm obsessed with it. I'm studying them. I'm going out there into the field researching them. Yet somehow this gold mine slipped under my radar.
Here are 3 weird signs that no one thinks you're attractive. Number 1, you have to wait in line wherever you go. People tend to let attractive people skip lines.
No, they don't. Not even in your wildest dreams is that a normal occurrence. Very few souls on God's green earth are going to let someone cut them in line just because they're attractive. Like, maybe there's a couple isolated cases where some virgin goober who used like an Ask Reddit thread looking for advice on how to break the ice with a girl might let her like cut in front of him at a coffee shop or something in the hopes that maybe it'll spark a conversation, he'll get her number and they'll get married. But that's not normal. Attractive people don't just get to part the seas like Moses anytime they walk into a Chipotle. Like, who even hears that and believes him? That's never happened to him, I promise, and it doesn't happen to anybody.
What is that, Chipotle? When you go somewhere and you're an attractive person, people tend to give you more favors. If you're not getting these kind of favors from people, people don't think you look that good, bro.
I just can't picture someone who sits down and listens to that hogwash and, like, seriously reflects on it going, damn, now that I think about it, no one's ever let me cut them in line randomly, all because of my Adonis-like figure and great looks. I guess I'm really just not good looking. This is something that clearly happens for beautiful people. Fucking cartoons don't even have that happen.
Number 2, women never buy you expensive gifts. When you're an attractive guy, women tend to buy you things of real high worth. The better you look, the more women are willing to go above and beyond to show that they appreciate you.
Jinkies, this guy thinks that being attractive is like a cheat code in a video game. Like everyone just gives over all of their loot to you because you've reached max charisma. Like you just stand at the Grand Exchange in RuneScape and people are just giving you all of their items or some shit, all just because you're good looking. What woman is going up to a stranger and giving him a Louis Vuitton bag because he's great looking? Also, why are you getting a Louis Vuitton bag? I imagine what happened here is he bought her an expensive gift and then told her to give it to him for the sake of this fucking stupid video. That's what I think was going on with that little scene there. I just love his mentality around it though. You might be ugly as shit if people aren't letting you cut in line, and if they're not giving you Gucci bags. I'm just saying, every time I go somewhere, everyone says, holy shit, he's beautiful. Everyone move, move, can't you see he wants to eat Chipotle? Clear path, move, he's so good looking, go on. Also, throw your wallets at him, quick. He deserves more items. We have to shower him with gifts to show him how much we appreciate his good looks and he's gracing us with his presence.
And number 3, no one ever tells you bless you. When you sneeze, as an unattractive person, nobody notices you exist. The more attractive you are, everybody's telling you bless you. Why? Because they think you look good. When you don't look good, no one trying to bless you.
This technique is so advanced, I'm shitting my pants. I swear to God, I thought this was satire. I thought this was all a joke, and I thought it was kind of a banger skit, like a parody, but it's not. This is actually, he actually believes these things. This isn't a joke he's making. These are real videos, and this is his real whole personality. It's crazy. He truly believes that people saying bless you in public is an indication that you're good looking, and if someone doesn't say bless you, or if people don't say bless you after you sneeze, you must be ugly. Does he have a brain of like a 6-year-old? What? Just imagine that. Achoo! Get the fuck out of here. This ugly guy sneezed. He sneezed. Hey, that sneeze came from an ugly guy. No one say bless you. This guy looks like shit. He's got a stupid face. Fuck you. Boo! Boo! You're ugly. Meanwhile, if a pretty person sneezes, everyone's like throwing money at them and showering with gifts, letting them cut in line and saying bless you.
Here are some weird signs that you're an average man. Number 1, no one ever talks about your looks. Guys, if you never hear how handsome you are, you're an average dude. Especially from women. If you don't hear how cute, attractive, good looking you are, you're average, bro. Number 2, your net worth is under 6 figures. Guys, you no longer can be a man, an able-bodied man in 2023 in the Western world and have under 6 figures. You're making under 6 figures. Women won't even take you seriously, bro. You're a regular dude. You have to make more money.
This is just a box that you are obligated to check if you want to be an alpha male content creator or a red pill content creator. It has to be all about 6-figure income. That is a necessity. You will not make it in the space unless you are financially shaming the people that are watching you. I don't know why the audience loves to be humiliated by the person they're watching about their finances. It's some real cuck energy shit, but it is a requirement. So he's putting in the work there, letting people know like, hey, no. You gotta have 6 figures or else you're just an average cringe beta. And also, if women aren't telling you you're handsome, you're average. Mom tells me I'm handsome all the time, so I don't need to worry about that.
And number 3, you don't have abs. Every single man should be between 10 to 12% body fat. Being in great shape shouldn't be a choice for you. If you don't have abs, bro, you're pretty average.
It's like listening to a teenage girl describe what she thinks a man should be after watching Twilight. It's so embarrassing. Anyway, though, he speaks about being average as if it's the worst thing in the world, like this unforgivable sin. And that's just a sign of the times where everyone thinks that you need to be like the special snowflake. Everyone's gotta be like the most unique Sigma grinder, or else what's the point? I just find that to be so pathetic. He is an average guy. This is not a guy who's going in the street turning heads. Very few people are. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let him convince you otherwise. People aren't letting him cut in line. There's probably plenty of times people don't say bless you when he sneezes in public. And I promise you, sodden panties aren't dropping when he mentions his net worth to women. He even posts some videos of him out in the field talking to women, and they are damn near unwatchable. He has the same amount of riz as someone on Discord does in a Valorant server. It's rough. Like, I've got to show you this one.
Where you heading to now?
I was actually gonna go to the mall.
Okay.
Yeah.
You seem like a cool person.
Yeah.
Well, we should hang out.
I have a boyfriend.
Okay. No worries. Thank you. You guys to rate my body 1 through 10.
I guess about a 10.
And you?
8.
What do you think I need to work on to make it a 10?
It ain't nothing you can work on. You just short.
Yikes. Oof. That comment about being short hits me right here. 5'6" gang. I feel you, brother. That's rough. But the first one is about, like, how to handle rejection. In his credit where credit's due, in his defense, at least he wasn't like a lot of the other alpha male weirdos that just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and don't take no for an answer. At least after, like, the painful 60 seconds he spends of just absolutely hammering this poor woman with tons and tons of questions, he at least just bows out respectfully, like, oh, okay, no worries. After just wasting a minute of her time just asking nonsense questions for the sake of his video. I spared you a lot of that misery. I couldn't help but leave in that last little tidbit where he dropped the actual iconic line of, "You seem like a cool person." That is verbatim what every trash pickup artist ever has said on camera, and it has never ever worked ever, and never ever will. It was pretty bad. Anyway though, he's not playing a character and these aren't satirical. His whole life and his whole career revolves around his physique and his looks. He's a narcissist. When he jerks off, he's probably not even coming from whatever video he's watching or whatever he's stimulating himself with. He's probably coming to the fact that he gets the honor of touching his own penis. Like, this guy, everything he says and does is all about his own interpretation of his beauty. And he tries to impart that onto his audience and tries to give them advice to guide them down his path of what he believes it is to be a beautiful man. And it's very odd. It's so weird. I actually went to his channel, and he was streaming at the time. And he has a lot of content where he just has men call him, and he'll rate them and try and improve their looks. So he tries to turn these dudes into better looking men in his eyes. Like, well, I wouldn't fuck you like that. So here's what I would do to help you get to a fuckable point. And I actually tuned in for quite a while. There were a couple of moments where he offered like legitimately good advice in between kind of like shitting on a couple of people, but he did sometimes offer like advice to people that were seeming a bit lost on things, which was cool to see, but then it was sandwiched in between just making fun of the person and offering dog shit advice. I do think there is real value in sometimes having someone come in and just be blunt about things that you might want like a second opinion on, like, hey, I'm not exactly sure if this hairstyle is working, what do you think? And just having someone be kind of honest about it. I wish someone would have done that for me in high school when I shaved the sides of my head but kept the top long so it was a fucking reverse rat tail. I looked like some kind of crazy villain out of the X-Men. But I'm not convinced he's the fucking oracle people should be going to get answers to all their questions or get advice from. It's a real mixed bag, and it seems like most of the time people just end up being the butt of the joke for him and his chat, as opposed to trying to actually offer legitimately good advice. But the point is, his whole identity online is revolving around being a narcissist and trying to be like the alpha male presenting to other men to try and like give them advice and put them on the path of alpha, which is so cringe.
This is how you sit like a fucking man. You don't sit with your legs spread open. You don't sit with your legs crossed. You don't sit hunched over. You sit up straight. Legs are shoulder width apart. Back is relaxed. Shoulder blades are relaxed. You don't sit like you're scared. You don't sit scratching your head. Little things like this, guys, affect how people treat you. If you're at a meeting or you're on a date with a girl and you like this or you like this, she's gonna be like, who is this little girl? Sit like a man, comfortable. And you're gonna look like one.
Sitting tutorials? Really, brother? You know what a man doesn't do? Teach other men how to sit. Try and preach about how a man should sit. What the fuck? No, you don't sit like this. 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 You sit like this. And you sit like this. And you sit like this. And then you sit like this. And then maybe you sit like this. With a little bit of honking. And then women are going to love you. And then they're going to let you cut in line. And if you sneeze, everyone's saying, bless you, I swear to God. And it's all because of how you sit.
It is possible to make your junk bigger, bro. You just don't know how. There have literally been clinical studies that prove that using traction devices, lengthening devices can improve your size over time. The problem that men have is you don't know which routine or what to do to actually make it work. What I'm gonna say is improving your size is possible, but it takes a lot of time and you need to do it the safe way. I've been improving my size for over the last year and a half. I've helped other guys do the same thing. You can see their results as well.
Please don't tell me you are giving men advice on how to make their cock bigger in Discord messages. That is so fucking weird. What? Oh, God. So I told you Jelqing is back. Like, Jelqing has made a huge resurgence. So he has a couple videos about making your penis bigger, like enhancing wee-wee size. And so he has like a couple of shorts about it. Brother, what? And he's talking about how he's been working on his size too, which is a huge self-report on that. That's telling me that you got a small wiener and you're coping with it a little bit. Like, man, why? This is not alpha anymore. It never really was in the first place, but Jesus. Giving PP enhancement size tips through Discord messages? What? Anyway, though, I'll stop yapping about it. It's just always so fun to find a new alpha male to talk about and joke about, so I just had to talk about it a little bit. That's it. So yeah. Right now, there's a pretty ridiculous trend going on where if something flops, be it movie, game, or show, the immediate response from those behind the production is to get mad at the audience and blame them for it, saying that Either they were too stupid to appreciate it, or they weren't real fans willing to support it, or they just told a story that was too hot to handle and people weren't ready for it. Thus, once again, we didn't fail. Our product's not bad. You guys are just turbo idiots that prevented us from the success that we deserved. And I'm just getting so tired of reading this. Every time something flops, this seems to be the go-to dialogue tree on the NPC quest line here. And it's just really, really starting to grind my ass. It just happened with The Witcher because Season 3 was a disaster. Full disclosure, I haven't watched Season 3. I just couldn't even pretend to be interested, so I haven't bothered with Season 3. But there was recently a statement made that the reason Season 3 hasn't done well is because they had to simplify everything because American audiences are too dumb, basically. And something very similar just happened with Marvel's Secret Invasion like a week ago, where the finale aired, and pretty much everyone said, "Oh brother, this stinks." They were just saying, "Boo! Boo!" and throwing tomatoes. It wasn't well received. Most people hated it. On a show that already didn't have many eyes on it to begin with, so it was just kind of a catastrophe. And the director behind it came out and once again just kind of blamed the audience and started pointing his finger, even having the gall to say that it's not his job to fulfill any expectations, and he doesn't read any of the reviews, so he doesn't really care if people didn't like it. Which I guess is fine. It's not exactly like the, puffed out chest alpha male thing that he thinks it is. It just kind of reads like you definitely did see the negative reviews and you're in defense mode. No one's forcing you to read any criticism of your show if you don't want to see what the fans are saying about it. No one's gonna peel open your eyes and sit you down strapped to a chair to watch all of the reviews come in. So it's fine if you don't read them, but why then just say that it's not your job to fulfill expectations and you don't care? I think you're pretending that you don't care. I think you definitely do, and if you don't, you should to some extent, at the very least. I don't expect any director to come forward and be totally honest, hey guys, look, this shit sucks. I really blew it, huh? Yikes. Yucko. This was no good, huh? I don't expect that. You should still have pride in your work, but you can at least take some level of responsibility and be like, hey guys, look, there was a story I really wanted to tell here, and I see that it's not resonating with a lot of the audience, and I'm sorry if I let some fans down with this, but this is my vision for the project, and this is where I wanted to take it. I think that's far more respectful than saying, you guys are all dumb, and I didn't listen to you, don't care. I'm just really tired of seeing this attitude where the director or the team behind a production gets mad at the audience for not liking it, or not going out there to support it if it didn't capture their interest beforehand. This isn't just, The Witcher and Marvel Secret Invasion. This has been happening quite a bit. You see the director's Secret Invasion said about the negative reception. He actually said, "Is it our job to fulfill their expectations?" No, I didn't see that. I'll look it up real quick, but directors are just getting really bold with how they handle bad reception. I can't remember who it was recently, but another flop had their director come out and say, yeah, we wanted this. In fact, this is what we were hoping for. I was what do you mean? You wanted it to fail? What? What the fuck are you talking about? Secret Invasion director doesn't care if you like the show or not. That headline goes so hard. You see, when it comes to Marvel shows, it's not about liking it. It's about just watching it because you're too deep already. Just consume for the sake of consume. You don't need to like it. Despite the resoundingly negative response to the scroll-based series, Marvel Secret Invasion director Ali Salim has admitted that he does not feel bad about the show's poor reception, particularly as he believes the devoted, even rabid nature of the franchise's fanbase does not lend itself to productive discussion around its various entries. So because they're devoted, they can't have a real discussion around it? I think there's merit to saying that a fan base can be way too brainwashed and hive mind for a real discussion to take place, but that's not even what this is about. It's just people, everybody unanimously did not like the finale. Oh, I don't read reviews. With all due respect, for me, I view all the storytelling work I do as a dialogue with an audience. When the show is finished and put up on screen, that's my half of the dialogue, and the audience then starts their half of their response to it. I think that's valuable, but I don't know. I don't know how to answer the question. What the fuck? This is a direct contradiction. So if you don't read the reviews, then you're not even listening to their part of their response. of the dialogue. So you give half the dialogue and then plug your ears to their half? What the fuck are you talking about, man? How is that productive discussion? That's like the exact opposite of a conversation at that point. All you want to do is give your half and walk away. And then, I guess, get upset. I don't feel bad about mixed reviews. If you had unanimously good reviews, every movie would gross $10 billion trillion, right? Projects resonate with different people at different times for different reasons, and Marvel has a very devoted, even rabid fan base who have expectations. When their expectations aren't fulfilled, they move in the other direction. They give it a thumbs down. I don't know. Is it our job to fulfill their expectations, or to tell the story that we're telling? So it's a tricky thing. I would love if everyone loved it, but I also don't have that expectation of myself, so I feel great about the response to it. What are you saying? What are you saying? The expectation would be to make something good. Like, yeah, you don't have to, like, follow the most predictable shit ever, but at least make good on the expectation that you'll try. And then at least listen to feedback, instead of say, I don't read the reviews, and then say they can't have a productive discussion. I think the best thing you could have done is just been like, you guys didn't like it? Whatever. It's the story I wanted to tell. I'd be like, okay, that's totally fair. If this is the story you wanted to tell, by all means. I just don't understand the point of getting, like, combative and condescending about it. Like, yeah, you guys, it's not my job to fulfill your expectations. So what? I don't read your reviews. I gave you my half of the dialogue, you gave me a response, and I didn't listen. That was the transaction. I just don't find this response from the director to be sensible at all. Like, it just doesn't compute in my little noodle up here. You gain nothing from being this combative and aggressive with the audience, and there's certainly nothing to be proud of with not listening to them or reading any feedback or anything like that. Why do you want to exist in, like, an echo chamber or some kind of sensory deprivation unit where you don't get any outside stimulation or input on the thing that you would supposedly be very proud of making? I just really don't get it. There's nothing to be patted on the back for. Fuck all of you, I don't listen to anyone. Woo! Wow! Yahoo! Wee! That's so strong! He doesn't listen to anybody! Whoa! Like, it's just, again, I don't get it. That's not something to be proud of, that you only, like, take in shit from yes men and yourself alone. But anyway, I won't linger on this for too much longer. Let's talk about The Witcher now, because like I said, a very similar situation just happened. A producer on The Witcher came forward and explained why the plot was simplified, and their explanation is once again just kind of the blame game. So they said, a series is made for a huge mass of viewers with different experiences from different parts of the world, and a large part of them are Americans. In fact, he said they are necessary. When referring to plot simplifications, that was the whole thing. He's trying to give insight on why the narrative of The Witcher is significantly more watered down and less complex than it is in the books. And his argument is basically, you have to boil it down to the bare necessities, only the essentials, pure emotions, because Americans are probably watching, and those are some absolute fucking idiots, I suppose. He mainly points to things like TikTok and short-form content as kind of deteriorating the attention span of viewers, so he needs to make it more simple for them and more digestible, baby the audience, because the Americans are so used to just jumping from video to video. And to a certain extent, I understand what he's saying. I do agree that the attention span of the average person has deteriorated to a level I don't think the Lord could have ever predicted. We have the shortest attention span ever right now, shorter than it's ever been because of things like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and stuff like that, I imagine. But I completely disagree that this means you need to dumb everything down. In fact, I think most of the evidence points to the contrary, that the more complex you make something, the more successful it can become. The best example I can think of is Game of Thrones, because this actually did both. It had very complex narrative, very complex characters, and then it dumbed itself down, and the dumb part, seasons 8 and 7, were horribly received. So bad, in fact, that it ruined the entire legacy of the show. Seasons 1 through 6, where it focused on a complex story, world, and characters, people loved and cherished, and it was the biggest show at the time, and still one of the biggest shows ever made, because of that foundation it built. But in seasons 7 and 8, the entire team got hit by the orb of confusion and just went, fuck it. We'll make everything super dumb and super simple so we can wash our hands with this and move on. And the rest is history. Everybody hated it. Point is, I disagree that you have to boil everything down to appeal to the dummies in the world, and that's like the only way for success. I think the opposite is true. The more nuanced and complex you make a show, the better chance it has of succeeding, because I think that's what the majority of people want to watch. They're not here looking for someone to just collide action figures together and make loud noises. I don't think those are the most popular productions. So to me, this feels like cope from the Witcher producer here, like saying that you find it painful to have to simplify the plot and that showrunners have to make these decisions and accept them because the higher level of nuance and complexity will have a smaller range and it won't reach people, is just wrong. Like, I don't think you're correct in that assumption there. I think most of the evidence points to the contrary, that the more nuanced and more complex you make a show, the more successful and more appreciated it is. Some of the best shows of all time and most successful shows of all time are the ones that are complex and nuanced with really interesting, deep characters and a narrative that is very intriguing and complex. So I don't understand exactly why he thought that this was a necessary and painful decision that they had to make for the success of the show, when clearly it didn't work and wasn't working anyway. Like, you could have still just stuck with the complex narrative of the book, and I think you would have stood a much better chance. I don't understand why we've reached this point where all of it's everyone else's fault. You ultimately were the ones that made the decision to say, let's simplify this and make it silly. That's on you. You made a gamble that people would prefer something really simple. Good guy, good. Bad guy, bad. Nothing else? Okay, I clap now. You made that decision expecting that possible response, and you didn't get it. It's not anyone else's fault but your own. I don't know why you're putting the blame on Americans and their attention span not being conducive to a significant narrative full of nuance and complexity. It's just a matter of just taking responsibility. Just be like, hey guys, look, honestly, we thought by simplifying this we'd reach a broader audience, and it didn't work. It seems like we simplified it too much, and it didn't convey the artistic vision that we were hoping for. Like, I just don't think you need to then say things like, it's those damn Americans and their lack of ability to comprehend complexity, which is why we were forced to make the painful decision, the necessary evil, to dumb everything down. Like, it's just silly. It's just silly to once again start pointing the finger at the audience, like, you guys are dumb, you made us do this. And now we failed because you guys are so dumb. Again, not anyone's fault but your own. If you had just stuck with the complex narrative of the books that it's all based on, even if it didn't succeed in the biggest way that you'd imagine, you could at least hold your head up high knowing that you delivered the artistic vision that you set out to do, because the way you talk about it now makes it feel like even you dislike the final product by calling it painful that you had to simplify it and that it was necessary to make such a difficult decision. So it seems like you are also not happy with the state of The Witcher, so why not just deliver the creative vision that was set out in the books that it's based on, instead of try to play the numbers game and appeal to dumb people or whatever the thought process was with the oversimplification of everything. Again, stop pointing the finger. Just take responsibility. You made a bad call, and the product is subpar for it. It is what it is. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because this is only increasing in frequency. Again, The Witcher and Marvel Secret Invasion are not the only two that have done this recently. This is becoming pretty common for the teams behind productions to get angry at audience reception or any kind of like criticism around their products. And it's just getting kind of tiresome how aggressive that landscape has become. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. I'm becoming more and more convinced that TikTok is actually a weapon used to weed out stupid people. Because this story is not the first of its kind. This is not an isolated incident where a TikTok trend or challenge leads to a lot of fatalities. It's honestly getting to the point where these headlines feel like they're AI generated. Like the one we're talking about today feels like a fake story put into Grand Theft Auto as a joke. Just something they slid in there as something silly. But it's apparently legitimate. There's a TikTok trend called the boat jumping challenge, which is responsible for at least 4 people's deaths recently. And the challenge, as the name would imply, is jumping off of a boat going extremely fast. You don't need a master's degree in physics to figure out why this is dangerous, but just in case, I'll lay down the brass tacks. So I'm gonna sit you down in the classroom here for the lecture, so spit out your gum. Since the boat is moving so fast, when you jump off of it, you hit the water hard as shit. You generate a lot of force behind that impact. It's a goddamn wallop. So, what's happening is, when people are jumping off of the boats, they're hitting the water and then snapping their necks and drowning. It's an easily preventable and probably the most embarrassing death imaginable because you killed yourself for a goofy-ass TikTok challenge. And I also hate that everything in the world is called a challenge these days. That word has lost all meaning. There's nothing challenging about this. Jumping off a boat doesn't have any level of difficulty or skill to it. The only challenge, I guess, is surviving it. Like, avoiding being banished to the fucking Shadow Realm for it. But I'm so fucking tired of everything getting called a challenge, you know? Here's the poop without wiping challenge. You take a shit and you don't use any toilet paper or a bidet to clean your anus. Expert difficulty, ultra nightmare mode, impossible challenge. You won't last 5 seconds. It's so dumb. I'm so tired of everything getting labeled a challenge. But anyway, this trend of boat jumping is responsible for at least 4 deaths. And like I mentioned, that is just the saddest way of going out. Not only is it like an agonizingly slow, painful death, but that is just, you're probably getting made fun of in the afterlife for that. Dying for a stupid TikTok trend, you know the angels are shooting spitballs at you. Like, that is, like, it's just a shameful way of exiting this corporeal realm and shedding the mortal coil. That is so fucking sad. Like, I feel horrible that, you know, people have, you know, perished from it. But I honestly am stunned by just how quickly the human brain is devolving. This is like human instincts 101 shit. Like, this is common sense. This is an instinct you're born with. Not to, like, jump off of something going fast because it'll create bad ouchie boo-boo moment. Fucking cavemen probably would know not to jump off of, like, a speeding vehicle like this. I just don't understand how anyone would see this challenge and think that it was somehow safe or wasn't dangerous. Like, you'd have to know. You would have to know. And another thing is, it's so traumatizing, like, dying this way, not only because it was extremely avoidable, but because it's most likely done in front of your family and friends. Like, if you're on a boat, you're probably not on a boat with strangers. That's not exactly like you can call up an Uber to do this with. You can't just call up, like, a boat service, right, to pick you up and do this TikTok trend. So you had friends and family around you filming you, and then you did the TikTok suicide challenge right in front of them, and they watched you die and fucking filmed it. That is scarring. That is incomprehensibly nightmarish. So, like, this whole thing is, it's shocking that anyone would actually even do this. Like, 4 deaths from it is surprisingly low, actually. I imagine that's only the reported ones so far, assuming this is a popular trend. And I decided to look it up myself on TikTok to see how big the trend was. And it seems like it was pretty big, and there are still quite a few surviving videos of people doing the challenge, but all of them seem to at least had the foresight to recognize that, you know, pushing that bitch wide open on the boat going like 60 would have been a complete disaster and led to a Mortal Kombat fatality. So the ones that are on there right now are slow boats. They're going slow, so that way they don't hurt themselves doing it or, like, get seriously injured from it. Whereas most people, I guess, didn't recognize that and amplified the danger, fucking Evel Knievel, and actually just warp-drived their boat and jumped off, which led to these 4 deaths in Alabama. This whole situation proves to me, with my fucking tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, that there has to be some kind of shadow organization, the puppet masters pulling the strings of TikTok, that are in this think tank coming up with the most dangerous trends and challenges, knowing that stupid people will die doing it as a way of, like, population control or something. Like, not only is TikTok legitimately rotting the brains of so many people, but they're not satisfied with that. They're gluttonous for more punishment of the human species. So they're coming up with challenges like this knowing that people will die doing it. Because like I said, this is far from the only one. There's also, of course, like the blackout challenge, which was literally suffocating yourself, and some people died doing that. Which, obviously, but that was the whole fucking challenge, basically. You just strangle yourself until you're about to pass out, and some people died from it. But point is, there's so many of these challenges now. This is just the most recent one. And what's even crazier is I think back to the Tide Pod challenge, how everyone all at once recognized the stupidity and the danger of it, and yet that didn't have nearly as many deaths or injuries as any TikTok trend that comes out. Like, every big TikTok trend has, like, at least a handful of deaths associated with it at this point. And even extending further beyond Tide Pod Challenge, many people forget this one, but it's one I look back on with a big fucking smile on my face that someone even tried it. There was something called the Hot Coil Challenge, which was only ever done by one person. It was a dude who just turned his fucking stovetop on and then put his bare forearm on it and let it incinerate his flesh. So he just slams his arm onto the stovetop and lets that motherfucker simmer. He is in there just letting it cook. So he holds it there for a little bit, obviously just melting the flesh off, fucking cremating his forearm, and called it the Hot Coil Challenge. And that would have been less detrimental to human health than fucking TikTok trends like the boat jumping challenge. There would have been less deaths in the Hot Coil Challenge than there are in things like the boat jumping challenge and blackout challenge and all of that. That's so crazy. Now, this isn't exactly related to the boat jumping challenge, but I want to illustrate just how dangerous water speed is. There is a record for the fastest water speed ever achieved, and it was set back in the 70s. And you'd think upon hearing that, like, oh, we've advanced well beyond that with technology. How have we not been able to beat a record from the 70s when it comes to water speed? And that's because it's considered the most hazardous thing to ever engage in. It's the most dangerous record to ever try and break. There's a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to it. Of the last 13 attempts to break the water speed world record, there have been 7 deaths. And the 2 most recent attempts both ended in catastrophe and death. It is a record that most people don't really want to challenge because it is so fucking dangerous. I feel like a lot of people just don't recognize how dangerous water can be, which is a silly thing to say, because I feel like most people should be able to, but we're living in clown times right now where people are just, they're not thinking anymore. They see internet engagement and all rational thought goes right out the window. So it's fucking dangerous. Obviously, this boat jumping challenge was going to lead to serious injury and death. And yet, people were blinded in the pursuit of clout. A story as old as time now. Well, not really. A story as old as 3 or 4 years now, with how desperate people are for clout, that they are actually killing themselves for it. So yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. See ya. I've said this before, I legitimately feel terrible for young men in the modern age because the internet is constantly contaminating their mind with what it means to be good looking or what it takes or what you need to be successful as a man. There's so much I could talk about on this subject here because the young male audience is highly monetizable, so there's a lot of these ghouls that have recognized that they can get a ton of doubloons by creating a problem and selling the solution to this audience about, like, you need to be having sex 3 times a day, otherwise you're a complete failure and you're less of a man for it. If your jawline isn't chiseled, if you don't have hunter eyes and a cantle tilt, you will actually never see a boobie in your life. I'm your only hope. I can be your savior if you buy my course. Otherwise, get ready for a pathetic life of virginity, you swine. And it even extends into the fitness industry. I'll blow the lid off of this one right here, so get ready. Almost every fitness influencer you see online is on gear. But some of them pretend that they're not, saying that they're natty, and they push supplements and other products onto their audience under the belief that they can look like them, even though it's impossible because they're not on the same gear or anything. But they'll still say shit like, hey, got these new pills in, it's, you know, eucalyptus urine extract, so boof one of these in the morning and you'll have a 6-pack by night. You can use code WAYMIN at checkout. And it's all just a bunch of fucking dirty barnacles. It's all just a huge money-making scheme. The young male audience right now, I feel, is more insecure than ever. And that means that they're buying more bullshit than ever. And the one I want to focus on today is looks maxing in particular. Curtis Connor recently did a video on looks maxing, and it's a banger. I think he covered it really well. However, there was one very crucial component of looks maxing that he decided to sit on the sidelines for and not do. And I don't fully blame him. But I go where men dare to tread. I'm not afraid. He shied away from doing Jelqing. Looks maxing incorporates Jelqing, depending on whose courses you're buying or whose advice you're following. And Jelqing is an old friend. Well, definitely not a friend. An old arch nemesis of mine. This is an old internet meme from back in like 2009, 2010-ish, I can recall, somewhere in that general ballpark. And fundamentally what it is a penis enlarging exercise where you masturbate a certain way in order to enhance your size over time. Now, for obvious reasons, I can't pull up any video tutorials that demonstrate the technique. I can't show any of the diagrams or any of that go over this advanced maneuver. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, old natural. I brought a tool here, a little instrument that we're going to use to showcase the Jelqing jutsu. So there were a couple techniques back in the day. So, you know what, let me go ahead and give you my origin story with Jelqing, because I actually have a personal connection to it. It's an old friend. Rather, not a friend at all. We weren't on friendly terms. An old arch nemesis. If you've been around the channel for a while, you'll know that when I was really young, I got most of my advice, my life advice, through the internet. Mainly Reddit, a little bit of 4chan as well. And back then, Jelqing was kind of popular as a meme. But no one really subscribed to the belief that it would make your cock bigger or anything like that. Some people did it as a joke, or some people did it because, I mean, you had nothing to lose at the time. So there was a few techniques that floated around. I'll showcase both of them on this banana here, my helper. So the most popular at the time was the old hook method. And what you would do is you'd hook one finger around your cock at the base, and then you'd really, like, hard slowly like go up towards the top of your penis like you were trying to squeeze toothpaste out of the tube, and you would do this for like 10 reps, and you'd do this for like, oh okay, we didn't need the stem of the banana anyway. We can still continue the demonstration on this part. So you would go through this process for, you know, whatever your rep range was. And by the end of it, the idea was it would be stretching the blood vessels and stretching all the tissue in there. So over time, that would be its new norm, like this stretch state. It would grow it over time because it's constantly being forced to stretch. However, there was never any real scientific evidence backing that up. The other big one at the time was you would take like this, and you would go from top and base, and you would kind of like you were playing a fucking small accordion or something. You'd go back and forth just like rubbing it together, and then I had a little spillage out the ass end of it, and what would happen over time is the same thing again, stretching the blood vessels and the tissue and all that, and supposed to grow your wiener. But as you might imagine, it doesn't really work. It never really worked. There was never any evidence for it other than like anecdotal shit, which I'm pretty sure were just trolls getting people to keep doing this, because what it does do, and what is very well documented, is it damages your penis, and it can actually lead to impotence. And I have a personal story in regards to Jelqing because I have tried it. Like I said, I got most of my advice online, and being an insecure young man, I was miserable. I hated my appearance. I hated pretty much everything about myself. So I thought, why not? I'll give it a fucking whirl. So I did it, and I hurt myself. And I think I told a story not too long ago where I did like a pseudo Jelqing exercise one time and actually had to go to the walk-in clinic because I could no longer piss. Basically what happened is I damaged everything internally in my cock, like just threw everything out of whack. It was all cattywampus, and I was no longer able to pee, and it swelled up like a giant fucking head of cauliflower. And that is something that does happen with Jelqing. There's no real right way of doing it. There's ways of doing it that don't hurt you, but nothing really grows your cock through Jelqing. And this has been well known for over a decade. But now, since everyone is so insecure because they're constantly being fed all of this ridiculous information and all of this awful advice and all of these terrible courses from terrible people, it's led to Jelqing being dusted off and being preached as a real thing. So there's a lot of people that legitimately have been Jelqing to try and grow their cock because they're not satisfied with their size. Spoiler alert, no matter how big your dick is, you always want it to be bigger. I'm 6.5 inches and proud, yet I would love if my wiener was a little bit bigger. Every man in the world would. But Jelqing is not going to be the thing that gets you there. And you also don't need it. Despite what a lot of the looks-maxing community tries to indoctrinate the audience into believing, you don't need an 11-inch fucking sledgehammer. You don't need a fucking 15-inch battering ram that the police could use to bust down the door of a crack house. It's once again trying to prey on the insecurities of people online. That is the main thing right now that is generating so much money and why you see so many of these things popping up frequently. Now, I don't think every single thing about looks maxing is evil. Like, I do think there are people online that are just sharing generally good advice and calling it looks maxing. Super simple shit like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, or if you're unsatisfied with your physical body, working out and giving advice on, like, going to the gym, where to start, things like that. All of that's totally fine. Like, that's all good, positive stuff, absolutely. Eating healthy, great. But then there is that evil side of it, where it starts talking about if you don't have a jawline that could cut glass, you're going to be alone forever, because it's the main thing women like, or the hunter eyes instead of the prey eyes, or if your dick isn't huge, and then they start, like, selling courses on, like, jelq maxing and, you know, fucking jawline exercises and shit like that. It gets really bad really quick. But anyway, jelq at your own risk. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's best for you. Maybe you'd see incredible results. Who knows? I think probably not. I think what's likely to happen is you hurt yourself, but if you really are a jelqing enthusiast, then I'm not going to stop you. I'm not your dad. I'm not going to bust in there and slap the penis out of your hand or anything. You go crazy on it. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I could not believe how popular jelqing had become again. So yeah, that's really about it. Beware of jelqing. See ya. I'm hoping you've already seen the news, but if you haven't, allow me to be the one to warn you of the danger. A little public service announcement to keep you safe. If you plan on attending a WNBA game anytime soon, make sure you pack an umbrella, because it is raining dildos in the arenas right now. We've just had our 4th incident of an airborne dildo being ODST shock dropped onto the court. It's become a trend where rowdy spectators are sneaking dildos into the arena to launch them onto the court, and it's become so big, in fact, that there are now bets on some markets wagering on if a dildo is going to be thrown, if so, what color, what quarter. It's pandemonium out here. They've even implemented a no-bag policy, or not a no-bag policy, something to that effect of where, like, they're really cracking down on security, yet somehow some ne'er-do-wells are still mysteriously sneaking these dildos in. Of course, the most obvious speculation people have, they've theory crafted that the meta is most likely they are kegeling the rubber cocks in their own buttholes. They're utilizing their prison wallet to sneak the dildos into the arena. However, we do know there have been 2 arrests that have been made. One, Delbert Carver. Side note, I've never even heard of the word Delbert before. It reminds me of the Angry Beavers. Like, his name is pretty close to just being dildo in and of itself. And then another one, the one that's gone most viral, is an 18-year-old named Caden Lopez. And Caden actually broke the magician's code. He divulged the method he used to sneak the dildo past security undetected. And it's far simpler than the speculation. He just put it in his sweater pocket and then unsheathed it and threw it onto the court, then left. But got tackled by a volunteer and held down till police arrived. Now, Caden here is an interesting case because he's got a weaker throwing arm than your geriatric Meemaw. He has an arm built like a wet noodle, it sounds like. He was unable to throw the dildo to the court, so what ended up happening is he threw the dildo and hit a man and his 9-year-old niece. So he's looking at assault charges on top of it, as well as a couple of others, and the man who got struck by it was pissed. And I think understandably so. He brought his 9-year-old niece to a WNBA game. The last thing you're expecting is a fucking railgun dildo coming right at you and your 9-year-old, you know what I mean? So he's actually, like, looking to have Caden kind of facing some big punishment for it. And then Caden was really singing the blues. He was squealing like, oh, it was so stupid. It was a very stupid trend, a dumb prank that I followed. I'll go ahead and show you all the incidents so far real quick as a little montage of what's been happening.
Oh, look out. Something just came onto the floor.
Start in the 3rd quarter. This guy had 3 quick turnovers.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell. Something flies on the court, actually, from...
Got a whistle away from the basketball.
All of this has happened in a little under 2 weeks, so it's only increasing in frequency. and now a group has come forward to claim responsibility for all of it, and it is the lamest faction on Earth, like the most embarrassing group of people this planet has to offer. Crypto Bro meme coin rug pull orchestrators. They have now stepped forward, this meme coin. Apparently one of these goobers said, "This is empowering to every fucking crypto community to start thinking outside the box, get creative, and fucking do something that makes people actually laugh. Meme coins should make you laugh." The whole mission with this was focus on making an impact in crypto culture. It's another blatant rug pull. I looked at the coin here. I'm not convinced that they're actually behind it. I think maybe one person associated with them maybe did it at some point, but this really seems like just the classic big trend. Let's make a pump and dump meme coin around it to make a couple quick bucks off of the dumbest people on the fucking planet. Again, if you put money into a meme coin, you 100% deserve to lose it. I shed no tears for that. So anyone that loses money on this crypto rug pull, that's inevitable. That's your prerogative. I'm not your fucking dad. You lose all your money doing it, that's fine. Just reading them talk about this shit is just so shameful. I feel like I've wandered into the anime club while they're LARPing. Like, look at the way he talks about the community members here like they're some kind of martyrs and heroes, like on the front lines putting their lives on the line. Listen to this, he literally says that. There are community members out there putting their fucking lives on the line, so the least you can do is retweet. Then begging people for crumbs of attention to their shitcoin so they can rug you. Oh my god. Now, I don't know if they're actually behind it. Maybe a member did throw one of the dildos, but I don't think everyone that's throwing dildos is associated with this coin trying to like pump it up or anything. I think they're just really trying to strike while the iron is hot. We have seen this exact same play millions of times with crypto, where something gets popular and then thousands of meme coins spawn from it, hoping that people will just mindlessly dump money into it to try and make a bag off it, but then inevitably it rugs. And they did confirm that Delbert Carver at the very least was not a member of the community, so again, not everyone that's throwing a dildo here is associated with the meme coin plans. It is crazy just how big this has become, where now all of a sudden with all these moving parts it ties back to a fucking crypto shitcoin scam. And yeah, I just thought this was a pretty crazy story I wanted to touch on briefly. That's really about it. So yeah. Yeah, it's only been a couple days since I talked about the NPC TikTok live streaming trend, and it is completely out of control now. It's spreading faster than the bubonic plague, and it's significantly worse for your health. It is tragic that this is the state of entertainment now. I don't blame any of the streamers hopping on this trend because it's an infinite money cheat code right now. This is a non-stop avalanche that's only gathering more and more steam, but instead of it being an avalanche with snow, it's an avalanche with doubloons. This is legitimately free money because people, for some reason, are just throwing all of their allowance, all the schmeckles from their pockets at every single TikTok streamer that's doing this NPC trend. I'm confident all of you have heard and seen this trend by now, but just in case, I'll introduce you to the patient zero that started this NPC streaming outbreak.
Grab, fire, fire, meow, hee-haw, yes, you got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me write it, huh? Aw, thank you, Fruity, I love you. Balloon. That was good. Coconut. Hee-haw, yes, you got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me grab.
This is Pinky Doll, and with the rate at which she's growing from this trend, she'll end up being more well-known than the Bible at this point. She has exploded from this. 50,000 viewers during her most recent NPC stream, and apparently, according to reports, eyewitness accounts, she went for 5 hours of doing that nonstop. Can never fault the work ethic there. That is some fucking iron will. That is a certified top 10 anime never give up moment right there. 5 hours of just repeating the same emotes forever. Literally just spamming taunts in a fighting game for 5 hours like this. That's not easy. That's beyond mind-rotting. But that's where the money's at right now. She has blasted a new market wide open here with weirdos that want to watch NPC streams forever. So it's really smart from her to capitalize off this, especially considering I imagine it won't last for too much longer. This is absolutely one of those lightning in a bottle situations. I would be shocked. And I've been wrong before. It's rare, but I have been wrong. Like the time I thought I got bit by a bat watching Jurassic World in theaters, and it turned out I had just fallen asleep and had a nightmare. Point is, I have been wrong. And I don't think I'm wrong here. I believe this trend will probably fizzle out and die like a sad little wet fart within about another week or two at most. I just really don't envision a world where kids will continue to keep coming back to these because it's the same thing every single time. Though, I'm going to go ahead and argue with myself here. On the flip side of that coin, kids do just endlessly loop finger family videos and Elsa making out with Spider-Man shit and you know, Crazy Shark or whatever his name is. Left Shark, I think is what it is. Baby Shark. Christ. Like, they do subject themselves to the exact same things on repeat forever, so maybe this will have legs for quite some time. I'm not really sure, but regardless, it's smart from Pinky Doll to keep striking while the iron is hot, because she is making a fat stack of cash from all of this here. And again, she's not alone. This has become the biggest trend right now. Either people hopping on ironically and then still doing it for like hours and then doing it multiple streams, or just people fully shamelessly copying and doing exactly what she does. If you go on TikTok and just scroll through live streams, pretty much all of them are this. There's been a bunch of videos posted of it, so I'll just show you clips from a couple of them that keep floating around and people that just scroll through TikTok lives, and it's literally every single one of them doing NPC streams.
Guys, thank you all for the likes. I appreciate it. The roses. 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 Roses.
The clip goes on for a lot longer, but I want to quickly interrupt before getting back to it. That roses to roses true combo there was actually fucking wild. That wasn't planned or anything from the person who posted this, I don't think, because they were just scrolling, I believe. So that just happened naturally. Like, that's how formulaic the NPC streams are. They're pretty much the same thing, just repeated forever. And they all generate a lot of attention from the audience, like thousands upon thousands of viewers for pretty much every creator that's hopping on board, as well as a ton of money, because again, the trend is NPCs acting out their emojis that people are donating. So they're getting donated roses, so it's smelling the roses. Roses! 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 Oh, roses! 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 Like, across the board forever. It's always the exact same shit for everyone doing it, and it's highly successful for them. And the audiences, for some reason, find it very entertaining and satisfying, which is concerning. It's the perfect illustration of just how bad for the human attention span TikTok is. Like, this is some fucking embarrassing shit for the future generations here. Because this content, the NPC streams, is basically just resetting the human brain to default factory settings. It's making you devolve to baby brain. Watching this is like watching parents play peekaboo with their baby. Peekaboo? Peekaboo? And then the audience is like, every time. Every single time, even though it doesn't change. It's fucking wild.
Hello, I am AI.
Rebooting. System rebooting. Thank you for your...
GG. Thank you for the share.
Live.
Queen Slaying. Hi, Zaza.
A couple of those were scrolled to a little too quickly to really recognize that they were NPC streams, but they were. Like, if you slow it down, like one of them that went by really quick, they did have the hair iron out with the kernel in it, popping individual popcorn, just like Pinky Doll does in the NPC streams. Everyone on TikTok is trying to get in on this infinite money glitch. And the content itself is legitimately just perpetual stimulation, jingling keys, making as much noise as possible, as often as possible. And it's working. You can see how effective it is, which is so fucking sad. Again, not for the people doing it here, because it's a free bag, and basically they just have to be the little clown honking their nose in order to make the children laugh by saying the same shit every single time for emojis that come through in the donations. I don't really get it. I'm not a fucking psychologist here, but if I was to spitball a guess, maybe this is like an audience of people that didn't get a lot of attention growing up, like their parents didn't play peekaboo with them, or Here Comes the Airplane with their vegetables, and seeing someone do something similar is kind of filling that missing piece in their soul, and that's why they keep coming back every single NPC stream and watching and donating to all of them. That would be my guess, but again, I can't really sit here and psychoanalyze every single spectator of this new sport and try and understand the inner machinations of their complex noodles out there. It's a little beyond my pay grade. I don't fully understand it, but I respect the people that are on the grind making a ton of money off of a wacky trend like this. I've also heard a lot of other people refer to this as an NPC fetish, which again could be true, maybe, I suppose. That there's maybe some merit to that claim, but I'm also not a fetish scientist, so I'm pretty in the dark on that one too. But regardless, one thing that's inarguable, it's extremely successful, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. In fact, it's only growing in popularity. But again, I do think that its days are numbered. I don't think it's going to last that much longer. So anyone that's on the NPC trend, you gotta stick this shit out for as long as possible. Fucking grip it as hard as you can in order to just continue to squeeze it for a little extra juice. Also, I mentioned that it's not easy to do this because it's not. Like, it's super simple, but it's not easy. It's many hours of just repeating yourself forever. But what I am surprised I haven't seen more of, and maybe it's just because I don't watch the NPC streams, I only see what gets posted online for the frequency of it. What I'm surprised that more people aren't doing is just recording maybe like 15 minutes of you going through all of these emotes like, thank you, fire, fire, gang gang, gang gang, gang gang, all of that. Do that for maybe 10 minutes, and then just loop the video on a TikTok live stream. TikTok live streams are filled with fucking scams already. It's a fucking cesspool of scams. And one of the scams that people do is fake live streams where they just loop a video like that. I'm surprised people haven't been doing that for this trend, especially considering how easy it would be to do that. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be sitting there and recognizing like, oh, they didn't react to the roses. Oh my god, they didn't react to the dumbbell. Wait a minute, this is fake. And even if they did, what are they going to do about it? TikTok doesn't shut that shit down. They haven't shut down any of the scam streams, so I'm just surprised that that hasn't become more prevalent with this trend, but maybe it's just because I haven't been paying that much attention to the actual streams. Maybe this is super common and most people are faking it. That's very possible, I'm not sure. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because it is completely fucking out of control with how big this has become. That's about it. So yeah. If there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that this tooth, this one right here, that little bastard, is about 1 centimeter taller than the other teeth on that bottom row, and now anytime you see my mouth open, you won't be able to unsee it. You're welcome. And the other thing you really need to know about me is that I cannot stand when people cause problems for customer service workers, in particular fast food employees. I've made countless videos shitting on narcissists that are fishing for clout by exploiting fast food employees for views on TikTok or YouTube through pranks or just being a general nuisance, just a hemorrhoid on society. They're just normal people and they're getting paid minimum wage to deal with the most insufferable people on the planet. Just truly degenerate assholes, and my heart breaks for them. Fast food workers get abused more than a fleshlight. It sucks. And over the last week or so, there's been a new trend that has really blown up that once again just treats these human beings as if they're just NPCs, props for their TikTok and YouTube Shorts videos. It's filming your Chipotle order being made by the Chipotle worker.
I'll get a bowl. Yeah, to go. I'll get white rice with that.
The idea is they're going to give you more food because they're on camera. And it spawned because people were starting to talk about Chipotle portion sizes being smaller than they used to be, which for the record I do believe. That is a conspiracy theory I'll put on the full tinfoil condom for, because I do think that's accurate no matter how much the CEO likes to dance around in delusion and pretend that that's not the facts of it. I do think it is true. I used to get a Chipotle burrito after every lift in college, and I had innumerable Chipotle burritos, and over the last 3 or 4 years I've been very vocal about the quality of the food going down, in my opinion, and definitely, like, when I get burritos now, it's significantly less than I remember it being back then. But I also think that's just kind of the industry norm, because I think the same thing about many other fast food places as well. But anyway, someone on TikTok came up with a cure to this small portion disease, and it was to just film these workers doing their job and kind of give them a bit of a hard time and nudge them on camera to give them more food. And this started to really pop off because a lot of people noticed that, oh, when they're being filmed, they give you more food. So that's the cheat code. That's the life hack.
Rice blanco pinto beans?
We'll do pinto beans with that.
Pinto beans, any protein for you?
We'll do chicken, please.
Chicken. Any queso for you?
We need some more chicken in that.
More chicken?
Finna fire on your ass. Put that chicken in there.
Alright, any queso for you?
This one is by far the worst I've seen from this trend here. This guy went in there looking to start shit. He's immediately aggressive and confrontational. The guy hadn't even put the fucking spoon fully into the chicken bowl there before he said, no, 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 need more chicken. He's there to stir a controversy for the sake of his video. And he is just shoving the camera down this guy's throat. If the worker had bent over, the camera guy here would have given him a full-blown fucking colonoscopy. He is right up in his business to just be this insufferable douchebag that's hassling him for the sake of this video that he's filming. Now, it's filmed from another angle, but I can't find that full video. I can only find this one through Twitter.
We need some veggies. Get some green veggies. Yep, little bit more, little bit more.
No problem.
Little bit more.
No problem.
Straight up. Oh, they gonna have to hold me accountable.
When he was asked pretty politely to just stop putting the camera in this guy's face, not even asked to stop filming, by the way, just asked to like, hey, maybe don't be up in this guy's nutsack with your camera, he immediately starts yelling about it. He's immediately throwing a fucking temper tantrum. Even though it was a super reasonable request, because look at how close he's getting to this guy. He is leaning over the counter to get as close as possible. It's like he's going in for a kiss, like he's trying to fucking make out with the guy here.
Nothing else?
That'll be all. And if you got a problem, I'll fire your ass up. Hold me accountable.
It's fine. I just don't want to put in his face like that.
You gonna have to hold me accountable.
Sir, this is Chipotle's. Why are you yelling and screaming? Why are you hooting and hollering here? Goodness gracious, it's like a hostage situation here. The worker did everything you ask. Leave them alone. All they requested is that you take the camera out of that guy's mouth. They didn't even ask that you stop filming, even though they should have. They should have walked over and slapped that fucking phone right out of your hands, douchebag. That's what should have happened. But it didn't. You still got to have your TikTok video, and you're still huffing and puffing about it. It's incomprehensible to me. Even when people who did this trend weren't harassing the worker making their food, I still don't like it. I think it is still dog shit. You're just being a nuisance to just average everyday people just going about their lives. They're getting paid minimum wage to make your food, and you're making it a huge headache for them by putting them on camera when I know for a fact they don't want to be. The reason you're getting more food shouldn't be some kind of mystery. The reason is because no one wants to deal with being shamed online. It's not like these people are just drones, AI that are cut off from the rest of the world. These people have access to the internet, same as you. They know what this trend is. And they know if they give you anything less than fucking colossal proportions that could feed a family of 8, then they're going to get insulted in your TikTok video. So obviously they play along with it. Like, it shouldn't be surprising that you do get more food when you film the workers here and put this big spotlight on them. Because now you've turned it into a huge song and dance, and they want to do everything possible to avoid a negative situation with their life here that you have now thrust upon them for your own, you know, TikTok or YouTube short. I think it sucks. I think it is sucked from the very beginning. I don't like that the portion sizes at Chipotle have shrunk, obviously. But what I would never do is blame the workers for it. They're not making the corporate decisions for the portion sizing or anything like that. And if you do get less than you want, you can politely ask if you can have like another scoop or something. Like, that's just normal socialization 101. You don't have to resort to the nuclear option here.
And that ain't no issue. Anybody in here can get it. Straight up. You can call the police. I ain't break no law. Wait, what? Well, why you lying like police?
This guy's fuming so hard that he immediately gave himself amnesia and forgot that he just threatened the entire restaurant. Like, she said, all right, I'm gonna call the police because you're threatening people. He's like, you're fucking lying! Who did that? Where? When did that happen? You're telling a fib. That's a tall tale. And I don't appreciate it, Buster. Even though literally 5 seconds ago, he just threatened the entire restaurant for some reason. He's just having a full-blown voice-cracking conniption here in front of the entire Chipotle for this trend. And I still don't even know what there is to be mad about. He got big portions on his bowl. Mission accomplished. And he successfully made everyone in that restaurant's day a little bit worse. Yippee. Wahoo! That's great. So yeah, overall, I think that this filming Chipotle workers trend is garbage. I think it is just trash. I could bring up countless other examples because it's become such a viral hit here, but they're all so annoying. They're not nearly as bad as this one. This one is by far the worst I have seen so far. The only ones that I somewhat appreciate are the ones where the Chipotle worker gives them significantly less food because they're filming. I fuck with that. I think that's great. That should be the gold standard going forward here. You come in and you start filming the workers, well, I hope you enjoy 5 tiddlywinks of rice and 1 little glob of chicken. And that's it. Put a smile on your face and get the fuck out. But anyway, yeah. Don't like the trend. Hopefully the trend is over soon. That's about it. So yeah. Yeah, I've got COVID again. This makes number 5 for me. I'm the Michael Jordan of COVID. Pretty much anytime I go to like an event, I'm guaranteed to get COVID, it seems. It's really infuriating. I'm the faker of getting COVID. I was even considering doing a tier list for all of my experiences with it so far, but we'll see. The only reason I mention that is because I'm going to sound congested here. My voice might also start cracking, but I don't really feel like editing all that much, so I'll probably just leave it in. Just know it's not a second puberty or anything. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this trend. Maybe? I don't know. I only just learned about it today, but it's been going on for about a month, where OnlyFans creators are putting AI Down syndrome filters on their content to try and drive more clicks to their OnlyFans. I took the audio out because of DMCA, but they're all exactly the same, where it's hypersexual, like my pussy doesn't have Down syndrome or whatever, and then ChatGPT captions to accompany it. There are so many accounts and so many examples to pull from. We'll get into some notorious ones in a minute. But in some cases, it's the management teams that are doing this, where they're taking their creators and then making like a separate account for them, where it's all AI Down syndrome filters on the content to link back to the other OnlyFans. So it's a tactic to try and drum up more clicks to it. I can't exactly find the genesis of this, what started the trend, but it goes back about a month ago from what I can tell, and it is blown up. There are so many of these, and there's a lot of articles being written about it now, about the fetishization of Down syndrome and also just using AI to pretend that these OnlyFans creators have disabilities to try and get more people to their OnlyFans. It's fucking weird. There are so many like this one here where it's not even close to being convincing. You can actually just see the filter fall off anytime she turns around. So like right there, you can see the filter snap back to her face. And every single one of these always has very similar captions that are clearly just AI generated, talking about like, the label doesn't define this and that. And then it goes into the most hyper-sexualized shit ever, like, just because I have Down syndrome doesn't mean I can't go down on your fucking nutsack and suck the piss out of your balls. I will literally suck the cum out like Shang Tsung extracting a soul. And then they all link to an OnlyFans. Now, on that OnlyFans, I don't know if they continue to keep up the ruse that they have a disability, like if they continue to just do like the AI filters and all of that. But there is a YouTuber who did pay for some of them. His name is Tuv. He did a whole investigation on this and a couple of other things that stem from it. According to him, in most cases of his research, they weren't showing their face, or they'd hide it behind like their phone when they took a picture or something like that. Now, another thing, a lot of these accounts have started to be aware of the fact that you can sometimes see the AI filter glitch when the video has them like turn around when dancing or whatever. So a lot of them are also now starting to only do front-facing stuff, because then the filter isn't prone to glitching as much, which makes it harder to tell if it's fake. So it seems like they're trying to perfect the art of faking disabilities using AI. Now, in some cases, there's been degenerate, loveless weirdos that should be launched into space that are taking people's videos and then putting the AI Down syndrome filter on them to try and make money off it without that person even knowing it was going on. I know in one case there was a TikToker who had her dance videos taken by one of these fucking lobotomites, and he just put the Down syndrome filter on it. She had no idea, didn't sign off on it at all, and was very appalled by it. So that does happen, but I do also think this is a new tactic being used by OnlyFans creators as well as management teams to try and get more clicks to OnlyFans through pretending to have disabilities and shit like that. Like, here's an example of one that I have no idea if the person in the video knows that this is going on, or if it's something they signed off on themselves. But it's a little person with the Down syndrome filter on their face. They have the F-, fucking book report captions that are all just AI generated. It's verbatim the same shit that other people doing this trend are just copying. It is one-to-one, just the same nomenclature and everything. And also, of course, it's always sexualized and always trying to link to OnlyFans accounts and shit. By the way, apparently this combination of being a little person with Down syndrome has only ever been reported 6 times. And the bio for this account says that they're one of 7 claiming that they're the 7th case. Faking disabilities is nothing new. AI's just made it far easier for any goober on the planet to try this. And it's not just the Down syndrome filter that they're using here. They're also doing it for fake amputees and shit like that. That's another really popular one. Like, this is the actual golden age of degeneracy because all of these fucking weirdos can do this easily now. AI is currently unleashing the infinite Tsukiyomi upon this planet, trapping us in an endless nightmare of degeneracy. They can just keep making all of this fetish content, all of this fake fetish content shit forever. Now, again, I don't know if the OnlyFans creators like the little person there or any of the other ones engaging in this are actually even aware that it's happening, or if it is just third parties or maybe even their managers that are doing it without them knowing. Couldn't tell you, but either way, it is fucking gross. It is crazy that we've reached the point where we're just using AI to fake Down syndrome so more people will click on the OnlyFans and spend money on it. What the fuck? Anyway, I guess just for a tiddlywink of lore, from what I can tell, this was the first fake Down syndrome video that really popped off and like blew up the trend, as well as this one right here was another extremely successful one. So I guess this would maybe be the genesis of it. And now there is thousands, specifically about Down syndrome, all faked AI hypersexualizations and fetishizations of Down syndrome. It is absurd. It's fucking preposterous. Like I mentioned, it's not just Down syndrome, but that is the most popular one right now. It is all kinds of other disabilities that they're faking for OnlyFans revenue. Fucking crazy stuff. Just wanted to talk about that a bit. That's it. See ya.